I got another great question, and to be honest, I'm super happy to answer it. I just finished up a sweet leg day. Okay, the pre-workout is still in my blood. It's in my bones, in my veins. And I'm super excited to make this video, okay? And I know it's nothing fancy, right? It's no like super banger or anything. But honestly, these are my favorite videos to make, okay? When you guys just send me a question and I can just, give you my 2 cents for what it's worth, which is about 2 cents. And hopefully it helps you. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But anyways, we're going to get into this question, basically the foundation of it, right? The basis of the question is, it comes down to this. I don't want to be skinny and I don't want to be fat. Brother, let me tell you right here, you are not alone, my friend, okay? You are not alone. Trust me. This is the plague that I deal with every single day, right? When I'm bulking, all I can think about is how I would love to be lean again. And when I am dieting down, all I can think about is how small I am and how I don't like it. But at the very end of this video, I'm going to round it out with a very, very important piece of information from my personal experience that I think it's going to make everything click. Okay? So first off, let's get into the entirety of the question. All right, let's get into the full question. Boom, right here. And again, I love when you guys give me these because these are my favorite videos to make. This is super fun. Okay, so like this video, I'm currently 18, 6 foot, and 185 pounds. Also, can I just say another viewer who is a genetic beast, okay? I would give my left nut to be 6 foot, okay? Are all of my viewers just large, handsome studs? It's incredible. Okay, you guys are winning already, right? Us short kings, I'm a 5'9" king, so I do what I can, right? So I have to, make up with it by having a decent income. I can't just be a 6 foot monster and walk around and press everyone. Okay, so currently 18, 6 foot, 158 pounds. All right, that means this gentleman is quite lean, right? He's one lean boy. I've been training for a few years and have very similar physique to your starting, okay? And we talked about my starting. When I graduated high school, I was 125 pounds, right? Flipping back to this other slide. This picture of me on the left here, this is in 2013. I graduated tech school. I was about 145, between 145 and 150, probably closer to 145. And then this is peak fatness, peak meatball, big boy, when I was waking up in the middle of the night to vomit and to throw up the 1,000-calorie smoothie I just ate. And this is when I was tired of being fat. Okay, so that's like a little bit on my background, right? So whenever I try to do a bulk, I hate the feeling of losing definition in my physique and in my face, right? I totally get it. So I go on a cut, right? That's the thing. As soon as you start bulking, then you're like, crap, this sucks. Start cutting. When I cut, have this voice in my head telling me that I should really be bulking because I'm not big enough yet. Do you have any advice on what I should do? Yes, I will tell you exactly what I would do if I was you. First off, real quick, credentials, obviously. Okay, we got to get into the credentials. A couple years ago, 3 years ago? 180, buck 80. Big boy, fat bulk, 235. And then just 90 days later. Okay, and this is going to be very important later in the video. Okay, just 90 days. Well, it's like 100 days of cutting. That's it. Okay, so contents. We're going to talk about being too skinny, and we're going to also talk about being too fat. Who's that? Who's that handsome gentleman? Okay, you don't want none of that. About being too skinny, okay? I know all about being too skinny, okay? Trust me, all right? When I graduated high school, I was 125 pounds. I remember there was one day specifically, I think I was a junior. I looked down, I was doing something. I looked down at my arm, and I had seen my bicep, and like my arm was just like, it was like a sheet. It was so skinny. It was like a sheet of paper sideways, my bicep. It was just so tiny I almost couldn't even see it. It was like my wallet just looking down at my bicep. It was so narrow. It disgusted me. I hated it. So I know all about being too skinny, right? And the thing is, you don't want to be skinny, right? Being lean is great, but you don't want to be too thin. So this is going to kind of touch on the range of, I feel skinny, but I don't want to bulk. And every time I start bulking, I want to go back to being thin. And I totally get it, right? The thing is, this happens to a lot of people. This happens to tons of people. They start on a bulk, and then just like a couple weeks in, they get how you're feeling. They say, well, I really don't like this. I'm starting to feel a little just kind of bigger and fluffy. And then maybe like a month or two in, they just kind of give it up, right, and go back. The thing is, that is just not enough time to really make anything stick. Okay. And you got to give the exercise some time to really sit on your frame. You got to be in the bulk for a while. Okay. A bulk is not 4 weeks, right? That's not enough time. Like 4 weeks is the amount of time that it took me to transition my calories back from cutting to bulking. Like that was 4 weeks for me, right? I'm trying to do it nice and slow, trying to do everything correct this time. Okay. So 4 weeks is not enough time. What you really want to look at is like 4 months minimum, right? We're talking minimum 4 months. The big part of this question really comes down to the age-old question of, should I bulk or should I cut? Okay, and I'm going to answer that right now. Okay, here's what you should do. Should you bulk or should you cut? At 6 foot and 158 pounds, that's pretty lean, my friend. That's pretty lean. And the thing is, I know there's a lot of talk about main gaining. There's a lot of people talking about, how whatever diet doesn't matter. People are saying these things, and that if you just main gain, you'll be fine. I'm telling you, as somebody who spent years main gaining, it doesn't do anything. If we go back to this last picture, just kind of want to. I have this picture up here because this is me when I felt too skinny. This is in more recent years. This was like, just a couple, maybe 6 months after I had my son. And like, I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't really training that often, right? Because we're like taking care of a new baby. And I'm not eating, right? So I'm not eating, not sleeping, not really doing anything. And I was down to like, I dipped back down to maybe like 165, where previously I was like 180 before we had the baby. The reason I'm kind of getting there is I understand there's a lot of self-conscious feelings about fatness and skinniness and not liking your appearance. So trust me, I get it. I've been through the entire spectrum of hating yourself. Okay, I get it. When it comes to the skinny versus fat conversation, I have a feeling a lot of this is going to revolve around how you perceive yourself. Maybe it's with the ladies, or I don't know. Maybe you're trying to attract, everybody else. Maybe you're trying to attract the dudes, the ladies. I don't know. But either way, I think that for the most part, ladies don't really care all that much. Meaning, I think if you took a picture of two dudes and gave it to the majority of the population of women, and one dude was just like too far on the skinny side by a little bit, and the other dude was just a little bit like slightly fluffy, I think that most women are going to pick the physique of the slightly fluffier dude over the slightly too skinny dude. That's just my personal opinion from my personal experience, 2 marriages and everything in between. Women don't want somebody who's going to fall over from a strong wind, right? You want to look like you can withstand hurricane force winds, okay? So that kind of gives you the answer of, that kind of answers the thing of like, if I had to be a little too skinny or a little too fat, in my opinion, I think I would go with the too fluffy, but you don't have to pick either, okay? So here's what you're going to do. At 158 and 6 foot, I'm guessing you're either very, very, very skinny with not really a lot of definition, or really, really lean, okay? Either situation, if you're like really skinny with no definition, I think you should actually cut a little bit until you can get to the point of a pretty decent ab definition. Okay, I would diet down until you can see your abs and you have a good six pack. You really got to start plowing the food. I mean, you're at such a good time in your life to even be thinking about this at all. Being 18 and already in the gym and like thinking about dieting and stuff is fantastic. I didn't even get started until I was 21 when I started getting ready to join the military. Okay, so you're way ahead. You guys are 18 and in the gym. Like I work out with some guys at the gym who are like, 14, 15, 16. You guys are way ahead of the power curve. Okay, you're doing fantastic. And then it gets to the point of, when am I going to be too fat? Okay, and realistically, if you're already at 158 and you're 6 foot, it's going to take a really long time before you're truly too fat. Okay, you are going to lose some definition for sure, right? So this me right here, this was 237. Okay, so if this was on us, just think of me on a 6 foot frame. Okay, a lot of this would be gone. And the thing is, I mean, you're going to be so meaty, right? Just bulk during the winter and wear a long sleeve shirt. Okay, get rid of the skin tight shirts. Wear something a little bulkier so that like your shoulders pop through. If you're a little bit too fat and you still lift really hard, you're still going to look like you work out in a shirt. This is kind of like the conundrum of lifting. You look good in a shirt or you look good with your shirt off, and it's kind of damn near impossible to do both. So I would not be concerned for you about being too fat. Okay, you have so many pounds. You are so many pounds away from being too fat. Here's what you got to do. When you start your bulk, just very sparingly do fatty foods. Okay, don't go and do a ton of McDonald's or a ton of ice cream, right? Or a ton of milk and peanut butter and stuff. I mean, hell, you could if you want to, right? But I'm just saying, I'm trying to help you minimize the amount of fat you put on your frame. You want to start bulking pretty easily if you still live with your parents. The best thing you can do, best return on your investment for a gentleman your age, very, very nicely, go and get some flowers for your mother, because we love the moms here, okay? We love the moms. Go and get your mom some flowers. Ask her really nicely to meal prep you some spaghetti, right? Spaghetti and meatballs. This is like the perfect bulking meal, in my opinion. While you're on your bulking journey, if you ever get to a point where you just hate how fat you are, it's time to, that's it. Time to turn it around and start the cut. And what I want you to remember is, at any point in time during your bulk, okay, this is the thing you have to tell yourself in the back of your mind. At any time during your bulk, pretty much no matter how fat you are 100 days away from being shredded. Okay, unless you have added just an insane amount of fat, which at 18, being 6 foot, dude, that's like an incredible amount of food to like get actually fat. If you're naturally a skinny guy, you don't have to worry about being too fat, okay? It is going to be an extreme challenge for you. But just keep in mind, at any point in time, you are 100 days from being skinny, okay? So when beach season comes up next year, start your cut, I don't know, February or January, and then once the warm months come around, boom, you're going to be lean and ready for beach season. Okay, that's pretty much all I got, gentlemen. That's pretty much all I got, gentlemen. Okay, stay on the grind. If you have any other good comments, please throw them down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer them and just give you my 2 cents. So stay classy out there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.